is a picture-perfect day at Atlanta Motor Speedway. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. We're excited to be here. It is absolutely gorgeous after that restrictor plate thriller we had last week at Daytona. It's a whole different kind of challenge today here on the mile and a half at Atlanta. Good afternoon and welcome along with Michael Waltrip and Phil Parsons. I'm Vince Welch. This is the first of 9 mile-and-a-half tracks on the Camping World Truck Series schedule. And if you're going to win a championship, you're going to have to conquer the mile-and-a-halfs. Easier said than done, especially when we're talking about Atlanta. This is a place that the veterans have typically fared better than the young guys. Can any of those young guns make an impact today, Phil?
Gosh, Vince, we've had 15. This is our 15th race here at Atlanta, and of the 14 previous races, only one time has a guy won here that he's been here for the first time, and that was Ty Dillon back in 2012. We have such an amazing rookie class here. We have 4 of our 6 rookies that qualified up in the first 4 rows, led by Christopher Bell and Grant Enfinger, also Cole Custer, Ben Rhodes. All these guys are champions. Cole Custer's already been to victory lane twice in this series, but if they're going to win here, they're going to have to tame a pretty tough track. The good news is they all have some great experience on top of the pit box, but this place isn't easy, Michael.
Yes, Vince, don't offend me. Don't call me just another mile and a half. I'm Atlanta Motor Speedway. I'm tough. I got high banks. The surface is very worn out. The tires wear. You slip from the bottom to the top. In order to conquer Atlanta, you got to be patient in these trucks. We talk about how they run around here wide open. You can do that for a while, but if you start overdriving the corners, your truck will start to push. It really takes an experienced veteran to figure that out. That being said, Grant Enfinger was one of the fastest guys in town yesterday, so I think this rookie class can stand up to the veterans and do something with them today.
What about Matt Crafton, the guy that won last year?
Okay, he's a veteran. You take him, I get all the rookies, and we'll have a good battle here today.
Deal.
Well, Kyle Busch won the Xfinity race right before this one. We'll see if one of the Kyle Busch Motorsports drivers can win the truck race, or they're all going to have to beat that guy, Matt Crafton. We're just about ready to get going. Let's go downstairs, trackside, for the command to start engines.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Please welcome today's Grand Marshal, Atlanta, Tallahassee, and Columbus Great Clips franchisee, Greg Thomas.
On behalf of the #1 hair salon brand in the world, welcome to the Great Clips 200. Drivers, start your engines.
The engines have started. The action is just around the corner. Stay with us. It's going to be a good one from Atlanta Motor Speedway. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Race 2 of 23. And as Michael said, it's not just any other mile and a half. This is Atlanta, and it is going to be a challenge here today. Let's take a look at the Camping World track description. Michael?
What makes it so unique, Vince, is those 24 degrees of banking. They're steeply banked, and we have a mile of turns on this mile-and-a-half track. Very short straightaways, as you can see there, long turns.
And our Camping World race analysis.
See, this race is 130 laps, just over 200 miles. Our pit window is around 50 to 55 laps. We estimate probably 2 to 3 pit stops. And remember, the caution clock will be in play here. If we go 20 minutes without a caution, they'll throw one.
The caution clock would have been a factor in our Xfinity race, and so I think the caution clock is going to be something the fans are going to embrace this year. It's going to add another strategy play for the crew chiefs down on pit road. It's going to be interesting to watch these teams adapt to it.
And as you see our starting grid roll by, let's check in with one of those that will be running up toward the front, and that's Christopher Bell.
Hey, Christopher Bell. Phil Parsons up in the FS1 booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
All right, we just saw boss man Kyle Busch win that Xfinity race just a few moments ago. Any last-minute instructions from him?
I did my research and kind of talked to him and got some advice there before the race, so didn't get to talk to him afterwards, but looking forward to seeing how the truck's going to change throughout the course of this evening.
All right, buddy, have a great show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Got some great onboards and some great views we're going to get throughout the course of this race today.
Yeah, let's ride along with Daniel Suarez. He just came off a 7th place finish, doing double duty here today in that Aris Toyota, and he will start from the 13th spot.
Let's hop out of a Toyota into a Ford. This is the Ford Performance onboard camera for Daniel Hemrick. This truck will be strong today, Phil. He starts from 9th position. Look for Hemrick to charge forward.
Another one of our talented rookies. First mile and a half for Cole Custer. Already a 2-time winner here in the series. He will start 6th in a Haas Automation Chevrolet.
I'm going to take you to the front row. We're going to hop on board with Matt Crafter and his Menards Toyota. He starts from the front row, 2-time champion of this series and won this race a year ago.
Thank you guys for the hard work. Let's go win this race. What do you say? Bring it up. All right, my brother. See you in your lane when it's over. Have us a good day here. Good luck.
A lot of door banging going on.
Sauter, he's trying to crowd down on Truex.
Checkered flag, but the yellow is out.
Truex on the inside, Hamlin on the outside, too close to call.
2 feet before the line is when he finally passed me.
Congrats to Denny. Just got me by a couple feet.
It all just came down to who could bump the best without completely hooking up. I think I was the first one to make it to the front doing that, so it's tough not to win. Second sucks, but I'll take it.
Ryan Truex making a big statement with that runner-up finish in Daytona, and he told me just a bit ago the deal with Hattori Racing Enterprises came together very last minute, just 2 weeks prior to Daytona. But the good news, his crew chief, John Monson, he's known him for a number of years. John actually worked for his dad on his Busch North car back in the 90s, so he's had a relationship with his crew chief for a number of years. Now, in terms of his truck for today, he feels very confident in the race package they're running. He says it doesn't have a lot of tire fall off, and he knows tire management is going to be key to getting a win here at Atlanta. Hermie?
Well, Caitlin, a team that's off to a little bit of a sluggish start. 2016, it's the 29 of Tyler Reddick. Now, in 2015, Tyler Reddick made a spirited run towards a championship, coming up a little bit short, finishing second. But the beginning of 2016, not what this team wanted. An 18th place finish at Daytona. They qualified 21st today at Atlanta. But they've kind of been known to start maybe mid-pack and make their way to the front. This team has a lot of grit. But for them to do that at a place like Atlanta, it's really going to test the driver and pit crew to try to get this 29 to the front. Vince?
Going to keep an eye on that. Thank you, Hermie and Caitlin. And here's a big development. We haven't even taken the green flag. That's Johnny Sauter, last week's winner at Daytona, having trouble getting started.
The ignition box. You got another ignition box?
Juice, man. It ain't the battery. It cranks, no problem.
Wow.
That's not good.
No, we've obviously got some issues under the hood in the electrical system. They're inside the truck. That's where the ignition boxes are. What do you think they could diagnose in a short time frame here, Phil?
A lot of times you'll have a second ignition box that you could switch over to, but sometimes for weight, these guys won't put a second ignition box in, so they'll have to change it. But usually that's a pretty quick change, but that's pretty unusual for that to happen.
You have to look no further than the Truck Series to see the tremendous ups and downs of NASCAR racing. Last week, the race finished in victory lane for Johnny Sauter. This week, his engine won't start. And think about Jordan Anderson. Last week, he makes the race. This week, he fails to. So many bumps in the road.
Saw one of the crew members squirting some fuel down in through the carburetor. That's a... He's got it fired. Boy, that's great news. What if it vapor locked or something like that? Maybe the fuel helped?
There.
Talking about a big sigh of relief down in that 21 pit box.
I bet they're not sighing too deeply because that could raise its ugly head again and see some issues for the 21. He's going to have to start from the rear of the field.
Yeah, he's going to have to give up that 16th place qualifying effort, but I'm sure we take a look at his crew chief, Marcus Richmond. I'm sure he's glad he's starting at the rear and not from pit road.
Or the garage, right?
Or the garage.
Starting at the back better than not starting at all. And Johnny Sauter, we know the kind of equipment he has and the kind of driver he is, be able to make his way up there before this one's all said and done. Well, there you see that front row. On the inside is Matt Crafton, the pole winner. Won this race a year ago, and not just won it, he dominated it. Won by more than 8.7 seconds. John West Townley is on the outside of row one. We're getting ready to go racing. The green flag is out. Underway at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Wow, Townley didn't get much of a start there. It looked like he might have spun his tires. That outside groove's hard to get a hold of, and we saw Townley struggle.
Saw Kyle Busch struggle from the pole earlier today on the initial start.
Sorting itself out at the front, Matt Crafton on point. John West Townley trying to recover from that bad start. Slipped back to about 7th.
Christopher Bell's going to line up in the 2nd spot early on.
Last time Christopher Bell was in a race, he wound up on his roof. And now he's running 2nd. He's got a lot of pressure on Crafton, too. Looks like he's got a fast truck early.
Nobody knows any more about the ups and downs than Christopher Bell here in the last 7 days.
Note, top left of your screen, the caution clock ticking down from 20 minutes. If it goes from 20 minutes down to 0 without a yellow, we will get a caution on track. The caution clock will then reset. It never went from 20 to 0 a single time last week at Daytona.
Have a great side-by-side battle. That's Suarez on the outside, Spencer Gallagher, the 23 on the inside.
Gallagher's making a nice run down on the bottom. Those trucks have a tendency to get loose down there, so he'll have to be careful. Looked like Suarez gave him plenty of room on the bottom. The reason why they get loose, Phil, the truck on the outside just robs the air that these trucks are leaning up against off the inside truck, and you can spin out in a hurry if you get yourself in a bind out there.
These trucks have so much downforce when they're going straight, even in the turn. But again, as you mentioned, if you get a truck on the inside, that truck loses so much of that downforce off that rear spoiler. A lot of times it's hard to control.
Suarez in that orange 51 made the pass of Gallagher for 7th place. Now setting his sights on John West Townley for 6th.
But you can see Gallagher fights back on the inside. Looks like that 51 truck of Suarez is a little bit tight. The front end's wanting to push up. See how high he is in the corner? He just can't get it to turn in the center of the turn, and it's obviously cost him. That's William Byron in that Liberty University Toyota trying to heat him up for that spot.
Well, that big wiggle from Spencer Gallagher made a big save.
We're going to see that a lot, Vince. These guys are going to have their hands full, especially when we get some laps on the tires. There's Johnny Sauter, that 21 truck, moving up from the back. Johnny is up into the 22nd spot right now.
That's a good move early.
From 32nd to 22nd.
Christopher Bell is hounding our leader, Matt Crafton. Phil, I don't think anyone, once Crafton got the lead, I don't think anyone ever got that close to him here a year ago. So there's obviously a lot of competition. And one of the people that I think could be tough all day long is one of my rookies that I took earlier, and that is Christopher Bell. Look at him looking on the inside of Crafton.
The rookies really have to have discipline here. Now, you know, Matt Crafton, he knows what pace he can run without abusing stuff. Christopher Bell, I think he's smart, just following along with Matt Crafton. Don't abuse that truck. He's got a great guy in the box. We talked about Jared Baxter. He's going to keep him in line.
Daniel Suarez inside of Ben Rhodes for 6th place, still working on Rhodes. Rhodes in that silver 41 on the outside as Bell goes around Crafton for the lead.
That was a power move around the outside. Great move by Christopher Bell.
Do you think maybe Matt Crafton felt like he was running too fast a pace? He didn't want to quite run that fast a pace with these tires?
Well, that duo have separated themselves by over a second and a half from 3rd place running Cameron Haley. And Phil, you know, it's really important here at Atlanta to take care of those tires. If Matt, with his experience, felt like he was abusing them at all, he's going to back off and let Bell go.
I talked to his crew chief, Junior Joyner, earlier today, and he said he felt like this would be one of the hardest races he has ever had to call because of the caution clock, as well as the fact that they only had 4 sets of tires for this race.
Another driver on the move is the 29 of Tyler Reddick, started 21st up to 12th, Hermie.
Yeah, Vince, we documented his struggles at Daytona and qualifying here. So far, he is on a mission on the outside of the top 10, but on your screen is Robert Huffman. He is acting crew chief for this 29 truck today. Doug Randolph, the normal crew chief, under the weather and is back in North Carolina. So Robert, normally the truck chief on this truck, is overseeing operations on the 29, and a pretty good start for Tyler Reddick.
Robert Huffman was an accomplished race car driver himself. As a matter of fact, he sat on the front row here for a truck race back in 2004.
He also brought Toyota their first NASCAR win in the Dash Series back in the day and won a championship there.
Daniel Suarez and Ben Rhodes still going at it. Battle for 6th as Suarez finally puts Rhodes away, and now Matt Crafton for the lead on Christopher Bell.
Are we just sizing each other up? I don't know. See what you got? You're going to have to do better than that if you want to lead this race, kid. Matt Crafton fights back on the outside.
Crafton in that bright yellow 88. Christopher Bell In the 4, Bell drives for Kyle Busch Motorsports. Crafton, the 2-time series champion for Thor Sport. And they are measuring one another right now. 11 laps into it.
Not a great deal of fall off from last year, and Eric Jones driving the 4 truck, even though essentially this is the old 54 team that now has a number 4. William Byron with a number 9 is the old Eric Jones team with Rudy Fugle as the crew chief.
Look at that good run. He gets off 4, does Bell. He was able to hug that yellow line and separate himself for the time being from Crafton. Got the lead at the stripe.
A couple of heavyweights slugging it out here early on. Makes you wonder what they're going to have on their tires 20 laps from now.
What do you think class is like at Kyle Busch Motorsports? He sets these kids down and explains to them what they have to do to run well at Atlanta, the line they have to take, when to go to the high side, when to really hug that yellow line at the bottom.
I thought Jerry Baxter, the crew chief on this 4 truck, explained it to me when he was talking about Kyle. He said Kyle Busch wakes up every day trying to figure out how not to finish second. He wants to win every time. A beautiful day at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. And it's a beautiful sight for Christopher Bell as he looks out his windshield and sees that he is in first place. Leads Matt Crafton here in the early stages. John West Townley currently 10th. He started on the front row, got a terrible start, dropped back, and is starting to make his way back up.
Right there, you can just see the wheels, the tires are spinning. You've got to be really gentle with the gas pedal. You got a lot of power under the hood.
Just seized up the outside line. Not only John West, everyone started on that outside line. Lost a bunch of positions.
Yeah, it's bad enough when you're the guy spinning the tires, but it's all those behind the guys spinning the tires. They pay the price too, don't they? As you see Spencer Gallagher on the outside of Daniel Suarez. That's Gallagher in the 23. Suarez with the close call.
Outside, 2 wide, outside, still outside, still there, 3 wide.
I'm really impressed with William Byron early in this race. The high school senior is running strong lap times. Hermie, that 9 truck is fast, but so is the 23 of Spencer Gallagher.
Michael, it's been a pretty good start for the 23 of Gallagher. He started 11th. He told his crew chief, Jeff Hensley, that I'm about a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10 free, but I'm only running about 85% capacity trying to save the tires. We'll see if that pays dividends for the 23, the latter part of this green flag run. Caitlin.
Well, Hermie, we were hearing the guys talk about Matt Crafton's win here at Atlanta a year ago, and he attributes a lot of his success to his relationship with his crew chief, Junior Joyner. They have been together for a number of years. He told me every time we go to the track, we get better, and that Matt always knows the feel he needs to win. And winning on these types of tracks has been a strong suit for him. Junior said he's very confident in the fleet of trucks they have for mile-and-a-half racetracks. He told me their bodies and motors are extremely good. Our trucks are better than ever.
You get a look at Junior Joyner there on the left-hand side of the screen. Of course, his driver, Matt Crafton, there in that yellow 88. Crafton won 5 of the 9 races on the mile-and-a-halfs last year, including the season finale at Homestead. And that's the basis of this truck. In fact, this is the truck in which he drove to victory at Homestead, and they really set up their whole mile-and-a-half program based on this truck.
Yeah, we talked to Matt Crafton during our practice sessions and asked him if he felt like this truck was better than the one he had last year, and he said he felt like it was. And you know, he demolished the field last year, but he may, hopefully he's holding a little bit back, because right now Christopher Bell is the dominant truck.
Well, after that spirited battle on lap 5 to 10 or so, I don't think he's holding anything back, and he just watched Christopher Bell drive away from him. Now up to just about a second lead is Bell, and Crafton has separated himself from Cameron Haley, so those two look like the players so far. But Phil, you know, at a track like this where handling is so important, they get to pit row, they get the right adjustments, you can drive from the top, outside the top 10 up into contention.
That's very little wheel movement for Matt Crafton. I think that truck, even though right now he's running second, just about a second behind Christopher That truck looks pretty good.
And what kind of transition are we going to go through with the sun going down? I mean, this track is going to change quite dramatically, so it certainly isn't time to panic. But you got to like what you're seeing out of Christopher Bell. Limited experience. He's figured out how to drive that truck to the front.
Daniel Suarez scraped the wall in that 51.
Whoa, looked like he was just following the truck of Spencer Gallagher, and Gallagher almost ran into the wall. So where was Suarez supposed to go? Like, why'd you get so wide up there ahead?
It didn't look like he hit as hard from the onboard as it did from outside that truck. Looked like he made pretty significant contact as we continue to watch Johnny Sauter try to make his way back towards the front. Remember, started all the way back at the back after not being able to get that truck fired, and right now up to about 17th.
Christopher Bell leading the way. Camping World Truck Series from Atlanta. A major development in the Camping World Truck Series race here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. That's Christopher Bell. When we went to commercial, he was our leader, but had a right front tire go down, and Matt Crafton went by him easily. Bell did get into the pit lane without much damage there to that right front.
You can see the truck just up the hill. The tire is low. He limped it back to pit road without any damage to that fender. You can see there, does a nice job getting it in the pits. The team changes the tire. He only lost a lap, Caitlin, so he's still got a shot at making this thing work.
Certainly does, but we're taking a look here at the tire. As you can see, it's completely unthreaded. So they did bring him down to pit road, went ahead and changed all 4 tires to be on the safe side. He's back out on track, going to try and make up some positions after a costly error, if you will, here in today's race.
Certainly an unfortunate break for Christopher Bell. Cameron Haley coming to pit road. Haley's going to make his first pit stop. Caution clock under 3.5 minutes, so keep an eye on that. A different strategy play potentially for some of these crew chiefs, but not the case here.
I don't think it's an advantage to try to beat that caution clock here as we continue to watch our leader, Matt Crafton. I think there was an issue with that 13 truck of Cameron Haley. He was running in the 3rd spot, really had a great truck, and came down pit road. Again, he's going to go a lap down. The best he could hope for would be a wave around or something like that when the caution clock runs out.
The clock could be an advantage. I don't think it's going to help Christopher Bell either, because there'll be trucks getting a lap down. He could do a wave around, but I think there'll be too many laps on those tires. We know how fast the tires go off.
Well, this is uncharted territory for everyone, right? I mean, we didn't have the caution clock reach 0 last week at all. We know there are going to be some different strategy plays as we see the action on the track heating up. Johnny Sauter continuing to make his way through, but we don't really know what to expect from the caution clock reaching 0.
That's what we expect out of the truck series, though. Yeah. 4 trucks battling hard for position. Johnny Sauter has driven from the back past John West Townley. Townley started on the front row. I guess that's just typical of this series. There's just so many comers and goers.
And remember, these guys only had 3 sets of tires in the pits. We know that Christopher Bell, now Cameron Haley, has put one of those 3 sets of tires on, only 2 left. So when the caution clock comes out here in another 2 minutes, or the caution before that, I don't think they can afford to put another set of tires on.
How about Ryan Truex on the move? Truex now underneath John West Townley. He passed 2 trucks in that sequence.
Tommy Joe Martins has an issue. Looked like the right front tire on that possibly went low in 3 and 4. I saw him way up the track before he brought it to the bottom. Now he's at a reduced pace. You know, if one guy with a fast truck like Christopher Bell has a tire issue, there's chances you're going to see more of those across the board.
Caution clock approaching 1 minute. Remember, when that clock in your upper left-hand portion of the screen hits 0, we're going to have a caution. You see Cole Custer on board in the pass of John West Townley. Custer is running 13th.
There's a lot of people that are anxiously hoping that caution clock ticks down to 0 so they can get those trucks to pit road.
1 minute. This hard enough to bring it here.
This is the strategy Junior Joyner's talking about, maybe bringing it to him. Would he pit, Phil? I can't see it.
He's got almost a 6-second lead, but I talked to Junior a lot about this caution clock, and he said if we have a good truck, I don't think we should chance it. If something doesn't work right, then we could be a lap down.
Well, let's find out what was going on with that 13 on that pit stop, Caitlin.
Well, Vince, Cameron Haley was experiencing a bad vibration, so they opted to bring him down pit road. They saw once they removed the tires, the right front was going to blow, similar to what we saw with Christopher Bell.
Well, that's just a good call by a young racer. He knew he had a problem. You're running 180-some miles an hour into the corners here, Phil. You get a vibration like that, knowing that there's tire issues, you got to come to pit road.
And Christopher Bell did a great job recognizing that he had an issue with that right front tire, slowed down enough to keep that truck out of the outside wall.
Here comes your leader, Matt Crafton. Caution clock under 10 seconds. Crafton stays out, not coming to pit road. When that caution clock hits 0, there is the caution, and we've got
yellow caution clock.
You've experienced history, folks, at home. We've had our first caution clock in NASCAR Camping World Truck Series history, and that's going to line all these guys up and bring them to pit road, get those adjustments, and get their trucks more competitive so we can have a faster, better race.
You'll always remember where you were, won't you, Michael, when the caution clock reached 0.
I mean, that's so special, Vince. I mean, I remember where I was when Hank Aaron hit that number 714.
I do, too. All right, well, now the pit crew's got to go to work.
Yeah, and I think for Christopher Bell and Cameron Haley, I think they either have to come in, maybe get a little bit of fuel, or stay. I might as well take their waiver out, don't you think?
Well, I'm thinking that, Phil, but just remember, they just had tire issues. How can they afford to stay out on those tires if the teams didn't make an adjustment?
And they only have 2 sets left, though, and we have 92 laps left.
Yeah, I don't think you can come take tires now again, can you, if you're Haley or Christopher Bell?
I don't think so. I think you have to take the waiver on and hope to catch another quick caution.
Just some of the strategy plays and the conversations and the decisions that the crew chiefs have to make in this situation. Of course, the crew chief for Christopher Bell is Jerry Baxter. The crew chief for Cameron Haley, Eddie Traconis.
That's why those guys get the big bucks, Vince. We just have to guess what they're going to do. They have to make the decisions that could win or lose them this race.
The free pass went to the 0-2 of Tyler Young.
Young is going to put 20 trucks on the lead lap.
I think we got to. I think if I'm Jerry Baxter, we have to keep him out, get that waiver around, get back on the lead lap, and then hope for a quick caution and run a few laps so we can save those 2 sets of tires I have left.
Trucks coming through 3 and 4. Pits will be open here,
and we know all the leaders are coming to get those tires.
Canelo Ford mistakes on pit road now also. Track position important. Here they come, led by the leader, Matt Crafton. Hermie Sadler will be there to watch the action involving the 23 of Spencer Gallagher.
Spencer Gallagher has told his crew chief, Jeff Hensley, tight through the center, a little free on exit. They'll put 4 tires in fuel and lower the track bar a half a round on the right rear. Caitlin.
We're looking at the middle of your screen. William Byron in that 9 truck. He told his team the entry is neutral, snug in the center, loose off. They're going to do 4 tires, fuel, and an air pressure adjustment. Matt Crafton, the race leader in the bottom of your screen, says he's still 2 free in to start off on a run. They will also do 4 tires and fuel for the 88 truck.
Like a clean stop for Crafton. He'll be the first one off pit road.
William Byron's going to pick up a couple of spots, come out in the 3rd position.
Timothy Peters comes out 4th. Great pit work by all his guys. Shane Huffman, new crew chief on the box for Timothy.
Shane's such a racer. He knows how to tune up Timothy, and he's got that crew humming today.
Matt Crafton. He's the leader at Atlanta. Tomorrow, it's the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500, sponsored by Coca-Cola. Jimmy Johnson won the race last year, try to do it again tomorrow. And Denny Hamlin, of course, looking to make it 2 in a row after winning the Daytona 500 last week. It all starts at 12:30 tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern on your local Fox affiliate and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Jimmy, how about this weather here in Atlanta this weekend?
Jimmy Johnson won a year ago. Denny Hamlin really fast in practice today, looking to go back-to-back to start the season. The weather's going to be perfect tomorrow. The drivers absolutely love this track. It's all setting up to be one of the best races here at Atlanta ever.
Low downforce package. I mean, it's got it all tomorrow. Hope fans can either come out and enjoy it in person or certainly be checking it out on television. We'll be glad to bring it to you. By the way, the 4 and the 13, Christopher Bell and Cameron Haley, they've taken the wave around now, so they're going to go to the tail, and they'll be on the lead lap. Bell had to pit with that right front going down, and Haley had a problem as well. That's why they were off.
Yeah, Bell only has about 10 more laps on his tires than the other guys do, and only about 7 laps for Haley, so they should be okay for a while.
Both of them know they had that trouble, though. That could mean more trouble lies ahead, so a little bit of nervous time for Jerry Baxter and the team on that Ford truck.
Matt Crafton and Spencer Gallagher on the front row as we're back to green. Crafton to the front.
What a great start by Crafton. That's 2 in a row. Oh, trouble. Got a truck up high. That's Johnny Sauter. Wonder if his gremlins are back.
Sauter had a problem.
Just shut off. 2 more, clear down. All the way down.
Sauter had a problem at the start. Couldn't get the truck started. Had to go to the tail and start at the back. Finally made his way back up. In fact, was running 8th when this issue crept up again. So.
It's running, but it won't run. Got pumps. Got fuel pressure. Now it's running.
You heard it. He described it.
Said it's running, but it won't go anywhere. And then he said, no, it's running, but obviously still off the pace as he heads towards pit road. What a great battle for second, the left side of your screen. That's actually Timothy Peters.
They're back in the 4th and the 5th spot. The same battle was going on up ahead. William Byron was trying to get around Spencer Gallagher. We got battles all over this track. We're trying to go 3 wide here.
Ben Kennedy trying to get up in the mix. That's Rhodes in the silver car on the right-hand side of the screen, and the red and white is Timothy Peters, and that's Ben Kennedy lurking right behind, and that's all for 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Sauter just drove right through the pit, Vince. I think that thing started running again, and he thinks he can get it up to speed. But it's not up to speed. He'd be faster than that.
Caitlin.
Well, the original plan was to change the ignition box now that he has had issues 2 times in a row with this race. But since it is running still, they have opted to not come down pit road, and they're just going to keep going with it.
Well, and now Johnny Sauter's been hit with a pit lane speeding penalty, too fast entering.
He's got worse problems than that.
Well, he's got a whole list of problems.
It just won't come up to speed. Again, it may be running, but it won't come up to speed as our leaders are going by.
Again, a look at Timothy Peters and Ben Rhodes. Ben Kennedy all right there together. Rhodes in 4th, Peters 5th, Kennedy 6th, and now Daniel Hemrick, Cole Custer. That's Hemrick in that bright orange and green. Cole Custer in the 00. Let's take a look at what happened with Sauter here on the restart on this 21.
Oh, that's a near miss too. Great job of heads-up driving by the other truckers.
Look like Hemrick in that orange and green truck. That's Sauter right there.
The flames are coming out of the pipe. That looks like an ignition issue.
What an amazing job by Hemrick to turn that truck hard left to avoid Sauter.
And also Parker Kligerman. Watch Kligerman too. He's right behind Hemrick, and they almost run into him.
I don't know how they missed it.
Now from the view of Daniel Hemrick.
20th one, please. Slow. Still inside. Happened right in front of you there. You shut off.
Well,
Still inside.
Hemrick had to miss him before the spotter even could see it.
Well, Sauter limping to pit road, certainly not the way he wanted to see his day unfold after winning last week at Daytona. Well, isn't that this sport, huh? 1 week you're the hero, the next week it's a 0.
But with our new format here, that obviously if we had the old point system, they would be distraught over this. Not that they're not distraught anyway, but he knows that he won last week. More than likely, he's already in our chase.
And winning at Daytona is the best feeling in the world anyway, but it just got feeling a little bit better because he's got his ticket to the chase, and he knows he's going to race for a championship.
Hemrick on the outside or on the inside of Cole Custer. Good battle for 9th. Daniel Suarez in that orange 51 just ahead. Hemrick on the inside, Custer on the outside.
Hemrick restarted 10th, but had that issue on the start with Sauter, dropped back a couple spots. Now he's rallying back. Really look for good things out of this 19 truck, and Daniel Hemrick, he's such a talented young racer. Caitlin, what are they saying with the 21? What's his issue?
Well, Johnny Sauter is in the garage area now. It is still the ignition box. They have brought him in here to change it. You can see the interior mechanic working on it now, trying to fix it so he can get back out and make some laps, guys. While
the struggle continues for Sauter. What a great save.
John Hunter Nemechek, that A truck, tried to get underneath that other truck. We talk about him getting extremely loose. Great save by John Hunter.
Love that. That
Running 13th.
How these guys are right on the edge of control.
John Hunter going to try to come right back at it. That's Parker Kligerman in the 92 just in front of him.
And remember, yesterday in practice, we didn't see a lot of speed out of the 8 truck of John Hunter Nemechek, but he said it drove good in the long run. It's not driving good right there.
Boom.
Boy, he had to eventually turn that truck left to avoid Ryan Truex. When he did, the back end swung out.
That could have collected Truex as well. A couple of them caught a break there. Truex ends up getting by Kligerman. Truex running 11th. John Hunter Nemechek has made that pass on the 92 as well. So 11, 12, and 13 battles all over the track. Just what you'd expect. But a tough end for the 21 of Johnny Sauter, last week's winner at Daytona. What a great day at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Bright sunshine, comfortable temperatures, and a doubleheader of racing. Kyle Busch won the Xfinity Series race just before we went green here at Atlanta for the Camping World Truck Series.
And William Byron is trying to win for Kyle Busch in the Truck Series. And, man, he's heating up Crafton. Last time by, just a couple of tenths quicker than Crafton. And you can see the distance there he's made up. Was able to work his way around Spencer Gallagher. And he just likes the bottom of this racetrack. This place really fits his style of driving, and he's doing a great job.
It's been a mixed bag for the Kyle Busch Motorsports trucks. Of course, Michael, as you say, William Byron looks great. You had the 4 of Christopher Bell, had a right front go down earlier and shredded it. There's a good look at Bell. He's made his way back to 13th, but he's working with tires that are about 12 laps older than those that are in the front. You're just not going to catch them from that point. And then there's the 51 of Daniel Suarez. He's running 5th.
Yeah, I think right now Christopher Bell is okay. If he can keep those tires on that truck, we run.
There's William Byron.
Yellow's out. Get on apron here, please.
Just as we were talking about how well William Byron was doing, in fact, running second, that's the outcome.
What a tough break for William. Great job, though.
Pit stops under yellow at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Spencer Gallagher, Ben Rhodes, and the leader Matt Crafton all coming in for service. Crafton will be the first one off pit road. And it's a big break for Christopher Bell. We were just talking about the Kyle Busch Motorsports trucks and how well William Byron was doing. Then the motor lets go. But that ends up being a big break for his teammate, Christopher Bell.
As well as Cameron Haley, the guys that had to take the waiver on because of tire issues early in the race. Now they're back even. Everyone has 4 tires on here. We've got 69 laps to go. Plenty of time to put one more set on. There's William. He was doing a great job. A lot of laps running faster than Matt Crafton, if not dead even with him, and the engine expires. And that's so unusual for these trucks to lose an engine like that.
Yeah, you just don't see it. And that was pretty massive. We could hear the engine coming apart as it came across the start-finish line and see the smoke. He should be very proud of how he tackled this Atlanta Motor Speedway. That tells me we got to pencil William Byron in for a guy that could win early in this 2016 season. He had the speed.
I thought it might take a while for these rookies, but looks like he's figured it out.
The 81 of Ryan Truex. Penalty for a man over the wall too soon. Back after this. Not quite halfway, but approaching this 130-lapper. 67 laps to go from Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Camping World Truck Series, and it's busy down on pit road, isn't it, Hermie?
A lot going on, Vince. Let's update a couple drivers on my end of pit road. The 23, Spencer Gallagher, first time down pit road today. They raised the track bar trying to get this truck to rotate better through the center of the corner. That was too much, so they came back in, put the track bar back down, and put 4 tires and fuel on the 23. Now, the 41 of Ben Rhodes, he's having a solid run as well. His issue is he's tight on the racetrack by himself, but too free in traffic. 4 tires and fuel, and he made an air pressure adjustment on the 41. The 29, we mentioned Tyler Reddick today working with a new crew chief, Robert Huffman, taking the place of Doug Randolph. Well, he went too early when they dropped the jack. They were concerned that maybe they had some body damage on the 29, so he came back down pit road, checked for body damage. He's all good, but lost all his track position.
Well, we should point out, too, and Hermie reported on it earlier, that Doug Randolph, the normal crew chief for Tyler Reddick, fell ill, unable to work the race today. Here's the issues for Kyle Busch Motorsports. First of all, Christopher Bell had a right front tire issue. You see it shredding and coming apart.
Really had the lead of the race, had to slow down when he felt that tire go bad, made an unscheduled pit stop, ran about 27 laps before that pit stop.
And then William Byron was running second, and his motor expires, Michael.
Yeah, and that's what those so far, those are the two guys that has had Matt Crafton's number. They were all over him. Bell leading him and Byron closing in on him, but this cat's not out of the fight yet. He's in the 11th spot, and he's got a fast truck, so he could battle back and get this win. I talked earlier, this track is going to go through a transition as that sun sets lower in the sky. We can see turn 1 and 2 already completely shaded, so you better be ready on that pit box as a crew chief to make some predictions and make some adjustments.
Christopher Bell, he's weathered the storm so far, working his way back up toward the front, currently 11th. But they're all chasing the two-time series champ, Matt Crafton.
Standing there.
The fans out enjoying a beautiful day at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Almost halfway on this 130-lap race. There's Ryan Truex, just got a penalty for having a man over the wall too soon. And Phil, take us to the telestrator here.
See right here, this is the guy. As that truck comes in the pit road, he is not allowed to do that. If he was a gas man, he could do that. You see the jack man, he was okay, but that man right there that we circled is going to put the wedge wrench in that truck. You're not allowed to do that. If he had a gas can in his hand, that would have been legal, and he may very well be the gas man.
Not allowed to have your legs over the wall at all if you are any other member other than the gas man who's fueling the truck.
And the first thing he has to do is gas the truck. He could have gassed it and then went back and made that adjustment, but what he did was not allowed.
Matt Crafton is your leader, and more on Matt with Caitlin.
Well, Vince, listening to his radio throughout the course of this race, he was very happy with his truck at the beginning, said it had a ton of grip. Now with 63 laps to go, a little bit of a different story. He says he needs more control, and this truck is loosening up.
It's just like it heaves. It needs a little bit more control there, Junior, on that side, and it heaves. And I think that's some of where we're getting that free when it heaves and it hits that hole, especially getting into 3, because the truck doesn't load as much on the right front. It just heaves, and so when it heaves the left rear, it just like spikes the wedge out of it or something, it feels like.
The good news is Crafton's still the leader, but it's also a winning truck. He won with this truck most recently at Homestead for the season finale last season, guys.
That's what's important about a driver crew chief relationship. Junior's got to know what heaves means, and obviously Matt's used that word before, and he's right on the same page with him. I might have to key the radio up and says, okay, explain that one to me. I'm not sure where you're coming from there.
And Junior told me he felt like this racetrack was going to free up here as it cooled off and as the sun went down.
Just another advantage of that consistency on your team, driver, crew chief, and the relationship that they develop.
Those two can complete each other's sentences. They are an amazing combination.
Matt Crafton, the leader on the inside. Spencer Gallagher joins him on the front row. The restart, the green is waving, back racing at Atlanta.
Another perfect restart by Matt Crafton from the inside.
Well, Crafton hasn't missed a beat on those restarts.
You just can't get going on that outside groove. And the reason being, Phil, we talk about this racetrack being a mile of turns. That whole front straightaway is a turn. And the groove is right where Matt Crafton is able to take off. Oh, we got trucks shooting out of line. What a save by Ben Rhodes.
Wow. 3-4 wide, and then Rhodes got loose and somehow saved it.
And somehow Cole Custer, the 00, was able to avoid him as we see Tyler Reddick come to pit road for an unscheduled stop.
One of our championship combatants last year has an issue.
Hermie.
Vibration, they can't really dictate which side it is. They're going to come in to pit 2. Now they're going all the way to 4. He was reporting he ran over something on the racetrack. Wasn't sure if it cut down a tire or what the vibration was. Unscheduled pit stop for 4 tires and losing valuable time for the 29.
Well, he was running 19th at the time.
We could see that left rear tire had definitely gone down on that 29 truck for Tyler Reddick.
Whoa, look at that hole that Truex squeezed into just ahead of Caleb Holman. These cats are racing very aggressively back outside the top 10.
It's Christopher Bell trying to make his way back up towards the front, running inside of the 17 of Timothy Peters.
That's for 4th place.
He went from a lap down, Vince, all the way up to the 4th place. He's coming after Crafton.
That's Hemrick right behind Christopher Bell. On the right-hand side of your screen, watch this series of saves here. See a couple of them.
Its action's going to pick up when they get down to turn 3.
Watch right in the middle of your screen. You see the 41 wiggle, Ben Rhodes.
What a job that the 00 Cole Custer did. He got in the back of Rhodes, but he didn't crash him. Those guys did a great job hanging on.
We know he was hard on the brakes to try to avoid from turning him around, and Ben Rhodes did a great job, as well as Cole Custer.
This is a truck I'm really going to have my eye on this season, Phil. And it's the 19 of Daniel Hemrick. He's inside of John Hunter. Couldn't complete that pass, but he is a talented racer. He's got a great opportunity driving for Brad Keselowski.
Daniel Suarez looking at his window as he was eyeing 2nd place. Spencer Gallagher in that blue and yellow truck. That's 2nd position. Suarez is 3rd. They're both chasing Matt Crafton.
Suarez, the only KBM truck without any problems today, though it looks as though Christopher Bell is going to be able to overcome those problems, running right now in the top 5.
The feeling maybe Suarez has a little bit faster truck, but it's whether or not he can make that pass. Had to get out of the gas there as Gallagher came down in front of him.
Gallagher's stout today, doing a great job in that 23 truck.
It's one of the things with Spencer Gallagher. He's had some really good showings throughout the course of last season, but it's putting that full race together. Not just the full race together, but then race after race and developing that consistency.
How about putting that veteran Jeff Hensley with Spencer Gallagher to call the shots? I think that's going to pay some dividends here.
I love that. I love this kid's talent and his passion and his enthusiasm for racing this truck. Caitlin, what's happened to the 11?
Well, in that last stop, in addition to 4 tires and fuel, the team had to hand Ben Kennedy a bungee cord in the truck as his shifter keeps popping out of gear. It was holding into position, but it may not be holding on for much longer, guys.
Well, that's a tough break for Ben Kennedy. He was inside the top 10, was running 9th at the time. He had to come to pit lane.
Yeah, that's a lot of laps left to put your last set of tires on, too, with 55 to go. Now, they could actually put that set of tires on. They just took off. If there's nothing wrong with them, they could put them tires back on if they wanted to.
Because we are definitely going to have another caution, one way or the other. It's either going to be the caution clock expiring, or we're going to get a yellow because of an incident on track.
Phil, I've talked about the great runs by some of these young kids. Spencer Gallagher, Daniel Suarez, Christopher Bell fighting his way back into contention. You can see rookie Grant Enfinger down on the bottom of the racetrack, racing with Parker Kligerman and Austin Hill. But no one's had anything to do with your guy yet. Matt Crafton just set the pace, and he's out there holding on tightly.
Nice job by Kligerman again today. Ran this series full time back a few years ago, and then has been out of the truck. Ran 3rd at Daytona, getting another opportunity here today. How much further on can they go race after race? But Kligerman has certainly shown himself well. Hermie?
This is 17 of Timothy Peters. Pretty good run so far. He qualified 12th. Right now, he's inside the top 5. Now, that last time down pit road came just in the nick of time for the 17. They had started to lose a right front tire. The tire was coming apart. Timothy says it's a little bit too free on the racetrack. He needed a little bit of help, especially in turns 1 and 2. One other comment he made, we saw the 81 get a penalty on pit road for coming to his pit box too soon. A lot of drivers complaining about the sun affecting their vision coming down pit road and finding their pit signs.
Well, that's a great point, because that sun is really bright right now, and a lot of the drivers have tape on their window to help shade it, but still difficult. And that's a great point made by Hermie. Some of the challenges that drivers are facing on pit road, as you look at Ryan Truex in that 81 being chased by Kligerman. Truex 11th, Kligerman 12th.
I just want to see Ryan Truex with a full-time ride here. We saw what he could do in the K&N East Series. He won back-to-back championships. Let's see if we can get Shiggy Hattori's team to run this full schedule and see what Ryan Truex can do.
And they're closing in on Rico Abreu, who's up into the top 10. Abreu continuing to get better as the weekend has progressed.
It's good to see that progress from the rookie. Rico has done a great job of steadily progressing his way to the front. We saw him in the back half of the top 15, 18th, and 20th in most of the practices, qualified back there, but now has just quietly crept forward. I'm really impressed with his run as well.
Right along with Daniel Hemrick in that Ford EcoBoost on board for Brad Keselowski. Right now running in the 6th spot, trying to take a run at Timothy Peters. He has John Hunter Nemechek all over him as well. Good 3-truck battle here for the 5th spot.
Wiggle from Peters. Well, what a great view. Seeing some of the issues that Timothy Peters has as he's trying to get through this with a guy chasing him.
It's funny because we saw that wiggle by Timothy Peters. We heard Daniel Hemrick lift off the gas and actually gained on Timothy Peters while he was off the throttle.
You know, at this stage into a run, you're all wiggling somewhere, right?
Oh, without a doubt.
You got a handful of wheel, that's for sure, as you look at Timothy Peters trying to hold on to 5th, pressured by Daniel Hemrick. A couple of drivers that we anticipate will be fighting for the championship once we get to the chase for the first time ever in the Camping World Truck Series.
Yeah, because all Timothy Peters knows how to do is run in the top 5. He put himself in a position down in Daytona to win that race late. He's up in the 5th spot right now. Daniel Hemrick in his new ride is hunting that spot away from him, though. And John Hunter Nemechek, another really talented young racer, he's trying to come in behind those guys and take that spot away as well.
How about Ryan Truex in that 81? He restarted 20th, working his way closer to the top 10, up to 12th.
Grant Enfinger in the 33, the Alamo truck. He's down on the inside.
He is not giving that spot up, is he?
These guys are really mixing it up. Phil, you mentioned earlier you let off the gas and actually gain ground. If you're on the gas going the wrong way, that's hurting you. So you got to back off and get those trucks pointed. The front tires don't want to stick. They want to slide across this abrasive surface. That's why we're seeing some issues with tires because of how tough this place is on them.
William Byron was running 2nd and pressuring the leader when his motor let go. Now he's with Caitlin.
And he was able to complete 59 laps before his engine expired. William, how frustrating is it for you to have such a strong truck and not be able to finish this thing out?
Yeah, it's really frustrating. Just can't thank the KBM guys enough. We had a really fast Toy of the Tundra. Came from 15th there where we started to 2nd, and was just kind of riding to save our stuff for the next caution. But it's unfortunate. It's my first mile and a half, and you know, I really want to have a good run and try and get a win for KBM. So just move on to the next one, try and get them at Martinsville, just can't thank Liberty University enough.
Thank you, William.
Certainly a tough ending to his day. We're going to hear more from him as the season progresses, that's for sure. And there's his teammate Christopher Bell going around the outside. In fact, both his teammates, because Daniel Suarez is a KBM driver as well, and that was for 3rd place.
Last time by, making that move around Suarez, the fastest truck on the track was the number 4 of Christopher Bell. So he's overcome his problem, put himself back in a position to win this race. Now I'm sure he's just riding on pins and needles a bit, making sure he doesn't have another flat tire.
Matt Crafton trying to put Tyler Reddick down a lap. Crafton continues to run up front. He's led 67 of the 86 laps here today.
Remember, Christopher Bell restarted in the 11th spot, and he finds himself right now in 3rd spot, less than 2 seconds behind Matt Crafton.
Yeah, and he's coming too, and this is kind of a tough break for Crafton. That's a good truck that Reddick is driving, obviously raced for the championship a year ago. He's 1 lap down. If he goes down that 2nd lap, that's going to end his day. If he's able to catch a caution and stay ahead of Crafton, he might get a free pass and get back in this thing. So he's going to race Crafton hard, and it won't be long before that 4 truck is on Crafton's tailgate.
Bell on the inside of Spencer Gallagher for 2nd place. Can Bell put away Gallagher and then go get Crafton? Gallagher's not going to give it up easily.
Not going to do it that turn, but it's just a matter of time before he takes it. And look, just ahead of him, there's our leader, Matt Crafton.
It seems like Jerry Baxter may have told Christopher Bell to go to the whip. It's time to move here. in just over 40 laps to go.
And less than 10 minutes remaining on that caution clock. Remember, when that clock on your upper left-hand portion of your screen hits 0, we will have a caution. It's a battle. Always is at Atlanta. Matt Crafton trying to hold him off. Oh, I love this view provided by Goodyear. Aerial coverage. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series from Atlanta Motor Speedway. And eventually we're going to get to victory lane. We're 37 laps away. Matt Crafton was our leader when we went to break. Christopher Bell is our leader now, and this is how it happened. Bell going to work on the inside, and eventually, watch the power move. It's like put the hammer down to make this pass.
He got on those train tracks we've heard drivers talk about. Just some grip down there on the bottom, and the Ford truck goes around the 88 of Crafton. You don't think that's deja vu for Crafton?
Said I thought I got rid of that Ford truck last year with Eric Jones.
They raced
the Xfinity Series.
They raced for a championship, did that Ford truck in 88 a year ago. The Ford truck coming out on top, but with a different driver. Christopher Bell hasn't missed a beat, though. He's strong today.
Thought maybe that the 88, because of the traffic that he was in, maybe that was what was slowing him down, but Bell is starting to pull away and gap that 88 of Crafton.
Timothy Peters brings that 17 truck to pit road. Talked earlier that the last run he was flat on his right front when he came to pit road. So pit stop here to take care of that. Hermie, they got an issue again?
Yeah, Michael, going to put 4 tires on a little bit early. Obviously unscheduled with the caution clock running down, but last run, issues with the right front tire, another vibration for Timothy Peters. He comes down with an unscheduled pit stop, 4 tires and fuel.
And Timothy Peters was running 5th at the time, and Hermie mentioned that caution clock. You see it's under 5 minutes. If it reaches 0, we're going to have a yellow, and we know we're going to have a yellow one way or the other. It's either the caution clock is going to reach 0 or something on the track is going to happen, so they can put that extra set of tires or that last set of tires on these trucks.
We watched Rico Abreu get into the outside wall a little bit with a hard battle going on with Grant Enfinger, that 33 truck.
Rico's totally comfortable with running the cushion, but a concrete wall at 170 is a little bit different than what your consequences when you jump in a dirt car. Check it out, just right up next to the wall, looking for that grip, doing a great job in the side of the top 10, barely brushes the outside wall.
Grant Enfinger getting underneath him. That's for the 10th spot. Enfinger's had speed all weekend long, led 2 of the 3 practices we had with fastest speeds. But still a good job for Rico Abreu. And the goal for Abreu at this point, run all the laps, gain all the experience. And if he does that, he's going to get a decent finish anyway. But the experience at this point is the key.
Yeah, and just think about Christopher Bell. He's leading the race, but he had a tire problem earlier. We saw it come back to Timothy Peters. He had a tire issue. Now he's had another one. Will Bell's truck make it to the caution clock? He's got to go 3.5 minutes before it's going to fly.
See Hemrick now running in the 5th spot, getting by Austin Wayne Self. The 22 truck right now running in the 18th spot. Good run for Austin Wayne Self. Right now he is in the free pass position. If he can hold that off till we get to caution or the caution clock.
Take a look at our Ford track facts. How those Fords are doing today for Brad Keselowski Racing.
Hemrick's been solid all day long. Unfortunately, the truck of Reddick has had some issues, and he finds himself a couple of laps off the pace. It's a good view there, isn't it? Young man just wheeling that pickup truck. You know, you talked about the aerial view by Goodyear. I want Goodyear tires on my car. This is the equivalent of running 170 miles an hour on a gravel road. I mean, this place really tears your equipment apart, and these tires are standing up tough to it.
What a nice ad for Brad Keselowski Racing to bring Daniel Hemrick in.
Absolutely. Saw so much promise last year in his first year in the series. Just 2 or 3 starts prior to last year, was solid all year long.
Timothy Peters got the fresher tires on, so able to make a lot of hay here.
Right now, these guys have about 40 laps on this set of tires. The guys that haven't been to pit road yet. Obviously, Timothy Peters had to come to pit road because he had a vibration. So this is about as many laps as we've had on these tires here. And again, we're getting very close. Just 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, Trucks pitted on lap 61, and this is lap 101. So 40 laps. They're definitely screaming for help with the fresh rubber.
Ooh, Haley sideways.
You talking about screaming? That's exactly what it looks like. That's what a scream looks like at 170 miles an hour in a truck. He was totally sideways exiting that corner. And look at this. Matt Crafton has begun to close in on Christopher Bell again.
I think Matt may be comfortable just keeping Christopher Bell in sight. He knows he has a great pit crew. He knows we're going to have a caution here in about a minute and a half, if not before. He's going to let Junior Joyner's guys get him out first here. He's got a great pit position down there towards turn 1.
And I'm sure he's been communicating to Junior what he needs in order to go up there and beat Christopher Bell. They're going to make an adjustment, have that last pit stop. This is the money stop. We've got to get it done. It's going to be less than 25 laps to go when they pit. We've got to be on point for this stop.
Bell about 2/10 quicker on that last lap. That lead about 7/10 of a second. 3 wide in the pack. We're racing all over the track here at Atlanta.
Timothy Peters just slicing and dicing his way up through there with those fresh tires. By far the fastest truck on the racetrack right now.
Running down in the 18th spot. He is in the free pass position. He would like that clock to run out right now before our leaders lap another truck.
Well, it's going to run out here in less than 30 seconds.
And you know Timothy Peters is probably out of tires, though. That was his last set that he put on. But the caution flag will give those tires a chance to cool off a little bit.
He'll take the wave around. Try to get back into contention.
He'll get the free pass, probably, unless Christopher Bell is able to put another truck a lap down. But I don't see anybody imminently in danger as the clock's just about to run out, and here comes the caution flag.
There it goes.
We are yellow at Atlanta. Let's get an idea of what's going to happen here on pit road with these pit stops. Hermie?
The 23 of Spencer Gallagher needs to roll the center a little bit better. They're going to come in and put 4 tires. They're going to let 1/2 pound out of both left side tires to help that truck rotate a little bit better and raise the track bar on the right 1/2 round. Those are the changes for the 23. Caitlin?
Well, Matt Crafton running in the 2nd position. He told his team he's still tight getting into 3. He's going to need a little help in the center. Going to get 4 fresh tires and fuel for the 88. And for the race leader, the 4 truck, Christopher Bell, he said, I'm good through 3 and 2, loose off of 2. I can't get to the throttle the way I want to in turn 2. But overall, he's been very happy with that truck. They're going to do 4 tires and fuel as well for the 4 machine.
Well, what a comeback it has been for Christopher Bell. Had that early issue with the right front, went down a lap, caught the timely caution at the expense of his own teammate, William Byron, but it certainly paid off for Bell to get back on the lead lap. And he and Matt Crafton have battled at the front throughout the course of the day. In fact, they're the only 2 trucks to lead this race. Crafton has led for 72 laps. Bell has led for 34.
Guys, I'm digging the caution clock. We've played it out a couple of times. It's given guys a chance to figure their strategy. Now, with the race on the line, we're going to come to pit road and make green flag pit stops head-to-head against each other and see who can drive off with the lead.
No more strategy now. Just get these 4 tires on and be done with it.
Pit crews got to do their job. Who's going to get their man out first? Christopher Bell will be first on pit road. Kyle Busch Motorsports, the 88 of Matt Crafton, the 2-time series champion, won this race last year out of the Thor Sports stable. Daniel Suarez, another KBM truck, 3rd in line. Let's crank it up and listen to the crews go to work at Atlanta.
Keep her idled up. Keep her idled up good. Go. Clear out, clear out, clear out. Very nice. Remember the game.
How about the team that gets their man out first? Matt Crafton and that 88 crew for Thor Sport.
We said it was the money stop, and that 88 team came through. That's a championship team led by Junior Joyner, but there was a stumble by the 4 truck of Christopher Bell. He went from leading the race to issues, Caitlin.
Well, Christopher Bell overshot his pit box, so he had to back it up. Basically, he told his team the sun was in his eyes. He couldn't see it, but a costly mistake definitely lost him some track position and the lead, guys.
That's so frustrating for the team and for that young driver. Look at Baxter. Knew that was the money stop, needed it.
We talked about the crew having to hit it. The drivers got to do it too. It's going to be fun. Don't go anywhere. We've got, it's going to be a shootout. 20 to go coming up. The Camping World Truck Series from Atlanta Motor Speedway on a beautiful, beautiful Saturday afternoon. Lots of sunshine. Fans getting their money's worth today with the doubleheader, the Xfinity Series, and now the Camping World Truck Series.
We heard Christopher Bell tell his crew that he had a problem getting on pit road, couldn't see through the windshield. You noticed the front of that truck, he didn't have any additional tape below the Camping World logo. But look right behind him, Daniel Hemrick, as well as the truck in front of him, his teammate Daniel Suarez. A lot of tape down there that may have helped him when he came down pit road not to slide across the line.
Tape on the top of the window acts as a sun visor, just like you'd have in your car, your passenger car, as you're driving along. You put the sun visor down, helps you with the sun. It's been an up and down day for that 4 of Christopher Bell.
Charged to the front early, then had a tire issue, had to come to pit road, got a lap down, got it back. Charging, what a fast truck he had. Has more trucks here today than anybody, Vince.
I don't think speed has been the issue. I mean, they've had the problems. They had the problem with the right front, and then on this pit stop.
Well, let's talk about ups and downs, and this being a bad break, he got a bit of a good break here on this restart, Phil. We've seen the advantage that inside line has had all day long. Fortunately for Christopher, he's lined up on the bottom, so he should get a good jump, maybe clear a couple of trucks. We know the speed of that 4 truck. He wants to get all that lost time back for his team, I'm sure, and he's in a good position to do just that.
We've reached our Camping World 20 to go. And it's going to be a restart. We've had some long green flag runs here today. A long green flag run ended this race a year ago. Matt Crafton took it to victory lane. Led 85 laps last year en route to winning this in dominating fashion. He's led 75 laps today, but hasn't been quite as dominant, even though the statistics would look dominant. He's had quite a few challenges, particularly from those KBM trucks.
He's had a couple pesky KBM trucks. William Byron was chasing him down when he blew an engine, and Christopher Bell chased him down after restarting 11th and passed him for the lead prior to this caution coming out.
Camping World 20 to go. Matt Crafton isn't going to win this one by 8 seconds. In fact, if Christopher Bell can get a good restart, he might have something to say whether Matt Crafton wins it at all or not.
There's Bell restarting 3rd row on the inside in that 4 truck. He was the leader prior to that pit stop, came in 1st, went out 5th. Matt Crafton will lead us on the restart of that yellow Toyota Tundra. John Hunter Nemechek on the outside. The green is waving.
You could see the 23 of Gallagher. He slid his tires. John Hunter didn't get a great start. Look at Suarez. He's to the outside of Crafton.
Daniel Suarez for the lead. Can he get around Matt Crafton?
And which way will Christopher Bell go?
Big crash. Heavy hit for Crafton. Caution is out. Suarez and Crafton both battling for the lead, and they are torn up.
Wow.
That was a big hit for Matt Crafton.
We saw Matt wiggle a little bit on that restart. Spun the tires, it looked like just a little bit. That allowed Suarez to jump up to the outside.
That was quite a hit. Yeah. You could see Matt.
He's certainly stunned right now. Good to see him moving around. A big hit for Suarez as well.
Good to see the window net down from Daniel Suarez. That is the sign that he's okay.
That hurts in so many ways. Dominate a race like Matt did. Have such a great truck that he knows he could have taken to the next track and won with. And now he's got the wind knocked out of him. He's hard into that outside wall. Truck tore all to pieces, and he's not going to win this race.
A big hit for Matt Crafton. Daniel Suarez involved as well. They were running 1st and 2nd.
I think Christopher Bell was able to sneak through right next to the wall I don't know if there was some contact from behind. You're not just going to spin out off that corner. Somebody might have gotten into another truck. We'll have to get a replay and get a look at it.
You see the truck stopped in turn 2, and the backstretch is, that's a great sign as Matt Crafton is preparing to climb out of the truck under this red flag with 18 laps to go. Suarez walking under his own power to the ambulance. They'll both be transported to the medical center.
Yeah, Matt takes one glance at the front of that truck, and which he pretty much had an idea what it was going to look like after that hard contact.
So Matt Crafton, who dominated this race a year ago and had led 76 laps today, will not win it. Watch. This is what happens.
Yeah. Crafton's been doing perfect restarts today. Right there, you see that slip? That just gave Suarez enough momentum to when they got to turn 1, he jumps on the outside. But what happens after that? Christopher Bell is a good run as well.
See Suarez on the outside. Watch Christopher Bell. Watch that Ford truck right side of your screen. Is he going to make a little contact? He does with Suarez.
So Bell gets into the back end of his own teammate, Daniel Suarez, and that's what knocked Suarez into the 88 of Matt Crafton. Wow.
Yeah, that was a mistake that was made on pit road, followed by one on the track. And watch the job he does slipping through after causing that mess. He's able to get through. Spencer Gallagher hit the outside wall. John Hunter Nemechek slipped through as well.
Let's go on board with that 88 truck of Matt Crafton.
Well, this is going to hurt.
Outside 51, outside. You and him, half back to the floor on the bottom with you. Trying to pack from air. 51 still out there.
Take a look at it now on board of the 51 of Daniel Suarez.
This is going to hurt too, Phil.
Yeah, it sure is.
Still inside, still there. No room behind him, no room behind him.
Wow. Cole Custer just barely got by Suarez.
God, we got to be so thankful for the safer barrier over there. That was a big hit. Fortunately, it was into the safer barrier.
I'll have to watch your replay.
Well, and Michael, we should point out that where Matt Crafton hit there on the backstretch, there's a great look at it. Atlanta Motor Speedway has added over 4,700 feet of safer barrier, and that area, I don't believe, was a safer barrier when we were here a year ago.
Thank you. Thank you, Ed Clark and your staff.
And thank you, NASCAR, for keeping these guys safe. We never know where we're going to wreck next, and that's a place that you wouldn't expect you could have that kind of contact.
We can hit it anywhere.
Exactly.
We've proven that.
Well, and we saw how stunned Matt Crafton was hitting the safer barrier. Imagine what might have happened had the safer barrier not been added and he would have hit that concrete wall.
I don't want to think about that.
That's why the safety improvements at the racetracks are so critical. The 51 of Daniel Suarez is on a hook, and he's probably not going to be very happy with his teammate Christopher Bell.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
When you make a mistake on pit road, you just wanted to get it back so bad for his team, but that truck was so fast. We still have 18 laps to go, but just pushing the issue, trying to get it back. And I know no one feels worse about what happened than that young man there.
And when we'll take a look at the replay here in a moment, but when Bell gets through the spinning truck of Matt Crafton, it almost looks like Bell maybe has a little right side contact with the wall. Watch when Crafton spins and goes toward the wall and Bell squeaks through on the outside. I think Bell scuffs up that right side of his truck pretty well.
And remember, these guys are battling at the very front of the pack here on a restart with about 20 trucks, 25 trucks right behind them. Here comes the contact. The Ford's going to lose that front end into the left rear quarter panel. Look at Cameron Haley go by to the lead.
Daniel Hemrick. Great job by that young man missing the crash, and now he's going to be racing for the win.
Here's that angle, a great replay of Bell squeaking through. How much contact is there on that?
Do you think that maybe Christopher Bell was trying to get up behind his teammate Daniel Suarez,
just misjudged it,
and
maybe?
give him that push past the 88 of Crafton and just misjudged it, tried to push him and draft, maybe just trying to help? Obviously, it went bad wrong, but do you think maybe that could have been his intention?
It's possible. I thought it looked like maybe he just lost that front end, and that's what got him into that left rear quarter panel of Suarez. John Hunter Nemechek did an outstanding job avoiding that incident. He was right dead behind it.
Well, that melee leaves Cameron Haley at the point. He'll be at the front of the field. What are they talking about, Caitlin?
Well, Vince, I was just talking with his crew chief, Eddie Traconis. He says it's been such an up and down day for us. If you remember, they did have to pit under green when Cameron was experiencing that vibration. And so Eddie told me we had to re-strategize after that, after going a lap down. But we feel like this truck is going to be good on restarts. And the good news, we don't have to save tires anymore. I've told Cameron to go all out on this restart.
18 to go as we sit here under red. You know, it's interesting, Eddie Traconis, he came from Kyle Busch Motorsports, so it's all connected in some way, shape, or form. But Traconis has got to like his position right now as his driver will be the leader when we restart with 18 to go. First and second place into the wall. Cameron Haley will be at the point. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with your grateful nation and its dedication to supporting Special Forces veterans as they transition into their next successful career. Visit foxsportssupports.com to learn more. Trucks coming to pit road after that accident, including Spencer Gallagher.
We saw him get into the outside wall. Ryan Truex actually got into the outside wall prior to Crafton and Suarez getting together. See the damage to that Shigetori Ison Toyota.
Still looks like he's in pretty good shape, though, Phil.
Watch him now. Rico's going to get into that left rear quarter panel. You're going to see the contact. And watch left side of your screen. You're going to see the smoke from the accident with Crafton and Suarez.
And look at Truex really doing a heads-up job, getting slowed down. That's what you want to do. Gives yourself the best option to miss it if you get your truck under control quickly, and that's what we saw that young racer do. Great performance at Daytona, and he's impressing here at Atlanta as well.
Ryan Truex will serve a penalty as his pit crew had too many men over the wall.
Yeah, just trying to repair that damage. I think that was more important. There weren't that many trucks that came down pit road, so you're going to see him come back down pit road. They got to make sure they get that thing buttoned up. There's some positions to be gained here in these last few laps.
Well, Daniel Suarez was part of that big accident. He's with Hermie.
Yeah, just released from the care center. First of all, Daniel, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
We're going to watch the replay here, and you can comment on the replay. Tell us, from your perspective, what happened coming off turn 2.
Well, there is no lot to say from my onboard camera. Well, I think it's very easy to explain. Our teammate turned us around. I don't know why. And we had a difficult day, you know, learning about everything, building that chemistry with my new crew chief with Bono. We were doing an amazing job. The truck was the fastest by far out there. We made some adjustment right there at the end. The truck was super fast again, and you know, I understand that this happened, but between teammates, I always think that between teammates we have to take care of each other a little bit more. But anyway,
it's Daniel Suarez.
Certainly a frustrating finish for Suarez. Now, who can finish it the way they want and take it to victory lane? Cameron Haley and John Hunter Nemechek on this restart at the front. John Hunter Nemechek in that black 8 truck on the outside. Cameron Haley on the inside, got a little touch from Hemrick, and here's Christopher Bell around the outside. Now crossover, challenging for the lead, Christopher Bell.
I think Christopher Bell says, at least I can do is win one for KBM.
Christopher Bell to the front.
What a great restart by John Hunter. We hadn't seen anybody get off the line like he did on the outside, and he's still after Christopher Bell. He did a great job on that restart. Hemrick on the outside trying to work his way into contention.
John West Townley up into the top 5 here. Hemrick a little bit loose off of 4.
Hemrick in 4th, John West Townley 5th, Cole Custer right behind in 6th. On board with Cole Custer. There's Townley on the outside of him.
Sounds like that truck is pushing with Cole. You can see him going up high.
He lost so much momentum, he's going to lose a spot, it looks like, to Parker Kligerman.
Look at John Hunter. He's starting to hunt down the Ford truck of Christopher Bell.
Cameron Haley with a wiggle. Daniel Hemrick inside of John West Townley now. That's for the 4th spot if Hemrick can get it. Hemrick inside trying to put away John West Townley. And then the 23 in the blue and yellow, that's Spencer Gallagher trying to work his way back up. He's now inside the top 10 once again.
Ben Kennedy had been on pit road for an unscheduled stop too, and look how competitive he is late in the going.
Big wiggle by Gallagher that allows the 11 of Kennedy to get by.
Just smooth now. You can do it.
There's Austin Hill, that family-owned team. First start for that family-owned team inside of 3 wide.
Caleb Holman strong late in the going. And there's Rico. He likes that high side. He's been up there. He's making good ground up there, running in the 14th spot.
These guys all battling to try to get into a top 10 position. Here goes a battle for 3rd. John West Townley has it.
Hemrick coming up to challenge. Hemrick in 5th. You're looking out his front window. That's Cameron Haley just in front of him. 10 laps to go at Atlanta.
We have some shade now on the racetrack too. That could be affecting these trucks.
Look at these trucks bounce and slide around. You think these things aren't a handful? This driver's doing an excellent job.
John West Townley trying to protect his position. He's running 3rd. Good look at Ben Kennedy in the 11 on the inside. Infinger now trying to get past on the outside. That's for 9th.
Right in front of them, that 41, Ben Rhodes. Ben Rhodes having a great run here.
So much good young talent, including the 2 at the front.
Trouble for Ryan Truex there. He's off the pace, and Christopher Bell is beginning to stretch it out. Watch this move. John Hunter goes up to throw the block. Boom. There goes Bell to the inside.
It looked like Christopher Bell knew he was coming up there and just turned her hard left.
Not the first time he's done the crossover.
That was Denny Hamlin-esque, wasn't it? Hamlin making one of the best passes in the history of NASCAR to win the Daytona 500. That was pretty impressive there.
Christopher Bell got into his teammate Daniel Suarez.
Oh, flat tire!
And Bell is into the wall.
Inside, just hold it up.
Huge hit.
Just hold it up, hold it up, hold it up. You're clear down.
He couldn't hold it anywhere. Makes you wonder if there was some damage after scrubbing along that wall during that crash on the back that caused that tire to go, but he had a tire issue earlier.
Yeah, they only had about 12, 13 laps on that set of tires.
Wow, so good to see the window net come down. Boy, that's the 2nd big hit in as many weeks for Christopher Bell. He had the big barrel roll down the front stretch at Daytona last week and then just pounds the wall here today as that right front went down again.
I think a good chance, Michael, that you were talking maybe some damage from the incident when he got into Suarez's quarter panel. Maybe caused a little bit of a tire rub. Just hate to see it for that young man. It's for 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, this was a particularly tough one after the wreck with his teammate on the caution before.
Waved to the crowd to let him know he's okay.
Well, a tough day for Kyle Busch Motorsports. We thought maybe that KBM would get its first ever win here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, but it's not going to happen as Bell has that right front go down, and watch this truck take off.
Absolutely nothing he could do about it. Just along for the ride, hard into that outside safer barrier.
Just so thankful for technology, the safer barrier, all the safety equipment that's inside that truck. We've seen guys still in our career hit the wall like that and they would never walk away, and now Christopher Bell is able to get out and wave at the crowd and head off to race again next time.
Heavy damage to that 4 truck. Boy, it has been a tough day. Here's the big wreck on the backstretch prior. Watch the 4, the 3rd truck through on the outside right there. Maybe a little bit of contact with the wall, or maybe it was that contact with Suarez that started that accident.
Yeah,
that did it.
Yeah, watch the safer barrier give when this thing gets into the outside wall after he cuts this right front tire down. Watch that safer barrier.
What's that truck going there, Phil? Over 140?
140, 50 miles an hour. And look at the give in that safer, and that's what it's all about right there.
The crew chief for Christopher Bell is Jerry Baxter. He's with Caitlin.
Thank you, Vince. Jerry with me now. Obviously, kind of an up and down day for you guys. You had a fast truck. Anything positive you can take away from this race here at Atlanta?
Yeah, we had a fast truck. JBL Tundra was great, and you know, we had a lot of issues there with little things that, you know, Christopher's got a lot to learn. He's young, and I hate we got into it with our teammate there and with Matt, but we showed a lot of promise. I think we get our hands around all this stuff, and we'll win a lot of races, and I'm pretty proud of the whole team. You know, they really did put together a good piece, so that's good for KBM, good for Toyota.
Do you think that wreck on the backstretch caused damage that maybe caused that tire to go down?
It's hard to say. The thing took off plenty good. He said it felt fine, and looked like on the replay just there right in the middle of 3 and 4, just, you know, lost the air out of the tire, so it's hard to say.
Thank you, Jerry. Hermie.
Well, Matt Crafton, spent a little time in the Infield Chaos Center. You told me you're okay, but take a look at this replay and give us your insight on what happened going down the back straightaway.
They said the 4 just lost it and hooked got the 51 in the left rear and just turned him dead sideways into me. And it was a long ride down the back straightaway and didn't know if you're going to get hit in the driver's door. It was a pretty solid shot, but like I said, I mean, hands down to NASCAR for having all these safer barriers and everything around this racetrack. But it's a shame because this Menards Toyota Tundra was so fast. Just took too long to get by the 29 earlier in the 4. It ran us down and got there to us and got by us, but I definitely felt we had a truck to win this race.
Glad to see you're okay.
Thank you.
It's Matt Crafton.
You got to appreciate the champ's attitude there. Obviously just wrecked leading the race, but yet he's able to smile and be thankful for NASCAR and for the Atlanta Motor Speedway and all the safety improvements. Watch how hard he hits Daniel Suarez with that right front. Could that have bent the fender in, Phil, and maybe started a bit of a rub that caused that tire to go flat?
We saw a puff of smoke there, so we know there was contact with the tire, so I wouldn't doubt that, because again, we only had about 11, 12 green flag laps on that set of tires. They had an issue earlier, but that was after 27 laps. I think there definitely was a bit of a tire rub there.
Well, the 4 being put on the hook and taken away. The trucks have been given the 1 to go sign. Well, what a beautiful, beautiful sunset here in Georgia, and it has been just a spectacular day throughout the course of the day today, and sunshine, lots of it, blue sky, and we're going to have more of the same tomorrow.
Yeah, the track president, Ed Clark, he promised great weather, and this is about a perfect Georgia evening.
I mean, 3 months ago he promised great weather.
And these fans are seeing some great races, and I'm thankful for Fox Sports 1. We've been on the air since 8:30 this morning talking about cars and trucks going fast. Cameramen and women, all the people that make all this possible. It's a great day to be a NASCAR fan, thanks to NASCAR on Fox.
It's been a doubleheader today. We had the Xfinity Series race just before this one earlier this afternoon. Kyle Busch won that race. And who's going to win the Camping World Truck Series race? We're going to find out. 4 to go coming to the line.
They're gonna get 3 to go here, guys, and we've got John Hunter Nemechek and John West Townley, Cameron Haley. This thing is far from over. These restarts have been hectic. We're gonna see another one just like that.
The guys on the front row, as we take a look at Cole Custer's truck, looking pretty good. The guys in the front row both have wins on 1.5 miles. The guy in the second row have never won in the truck series.
And the wily old veteran Timothy Peters sat back there in that 5th spot. He knows what kind of youth and inexperience is up ahead of him. Don't be surprised if he doesn't make the move and win the race.
Well, great stories. Parker Kligerman, another good run back to back with that good run he had last week. How about Austin Hill in the top 10 right now in that new team?
Think about John West Townley's restart earlier. He spun his tires and went all the way outside the top 10. He's got a chance to redeem himself for that bad start earlier. He apologized to his team. His team said, we got plenty more to come, driver. Get us one later. Well, it's getting late. It's time to get it.
It is indeed. They have added an extra lap, as you've probably noticed.
We're going to get this restart with 2 laps to go.
Just as we had last week at Daytona.
Yeah, this
restarted with 2 to go.
Yeah, this is not overtime.
Nope.
We could finish this in the prescribed distance.
And with what we have seen here today, I think anybody in those first 3 rows feels like they got a shot for sure, maybe even a little bit further back.
I think with what we've seen today, overtime wouldn't surprise me.
Not at all, not a bit.
We've had it all. Holy cow, what a great truck race.
We know how hungry all these drivers up here towards the front are. We know John Hunter Nemechek wants to get that second win. John West Townley the same way. And how about the first win for those guys in the second row?
Cameron Haley from Canada has come down and just made his presence known here in the Truck Series as a competitive racer. Look there back, Parker Kligerman up on the outside. He's going to have a shot to win this thing as well.
There's Ben Rhodes in the 41, so when they get Dyson up in the front, it opens something up for Rhodes, or maybe even Ben Kennedy in that 11 who finished 3rd here a year ago. But it's all going to be dictated by what happens in the front. John Hunter Nemechek won last year at Chicago on 1.5 miles. John West Townley won at Las Vegas, also on 1.5 miles, and they're going to go dig here in a minute.
This is a pretty wide track. We could get 3-4 wide here.
It's time to earn your paycheck, boys. John Hunter Nemechek is doing a nice job. He's holding Townley up the hill a little bit. He wants to dictate how he makes this restart so he doesn't spin those tires.
Nemechek on the inside, Townley on the outside. Townley spun the tires again. Hemrick getting inside of him. Everybody shuffled, and John Hunter Nemechek is in the lead.
That really cost Daniel Hemrick. Look how much ground he lost. He's back to the 5th spot now.
He's trying to climb back on the outside. He's making him move around Grant Enfinger to try to climb back into it.
Cameron Haley in 2nd. Can he chase down John Hunter Nemechek? Can Haley get his first ever win in the Camping World Truck Series?
Great turn by John Hunter. He's able to hook that bottom. Look how low he is off 4. He sees the white flag ahead.
Clear by 2.
1 to go at Atlanta. The white flag is out.
One more lap for Cameron Haley to do something with John Hunter Nemechek. How about Peters on the outside?
And look at Ben Rhodes charging on the inside of Hemrick.
John Hunter Nemechek trying to hold off the field on the final lap at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
John West Townley climbs inside of Ben Rhodes.
There's Joe Nemechek, John Hunter's dad, on the left, cheering for his son. John Hunter Nemechek wins in Atlanta.
And we were 3 wide for 5th. What a great race. And what a great job by that family team.
Can you believe that?
Yes, we can.
That's what it's all about right there.
Good job. Great job, everybody. Great pit stop. All right.
So much invested by Joe Nemechek.
Do not turn it too much. In 4.
Constantly working to build and make his team better.
We're proud of you.
And John Hunter Nemechek, as the driver, has done his part with a heck of a drive today.
What about yesterday? We heard Joe Nemechek coaching his young son, saying, son, we need this truck to be a little bit tighter. It's going to take care of the tires better. You'll be around at the end if we do that. His son listened. Joe Nemechek, a great racer, and he's a great owner, and I know probably the proudest dad in Georgia right now.
And notice that truck doesn't have many decals on it. Somebody needs to put their name on that truck. John Hunter Nemechek, a potential champion in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. The youngest winner in NASCAR at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Hermie?
Joe, how did your son win this race?
Well, I tell you what, it's a lot of hard work. I can't thank Jerry Kennan, this whole crew, for having a unsponsored truck. We don't have a primary sponsor yet for the year, and we're working hard. But John Hunter drives his butt off. I mean, I was trying to tell him to slow down because he's burning the tires up off of it, but we just kept working. You know, Jerry Kennan makes some good calls. We talk about a lot of stuff. There's a lot of experience on this pit box, so we're having a great time doing it. Can't thank Chevrolet enough. We had the Foam Fuel guys here. They're a big part of it. Meatball, Fiber Technique, just a lot of great people. I just don't know what to say. You know, it's for a small team with very limited resources, we're getting our stuff figured out.
Congratulations. John Hunter Nemechek is going to victory lane.
I don't say he does that without crying. I'm over here crying because I'm so proud and happy for him, and I know how hard this stuff is and how that must feel for that dad.
What a great moment for the Nemechek family. John Hunter wins at Atlanta.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
It's a beautiful night in Georgia. John Hunter Nemechek certainly likes the looks of it.
I tell you what, the Sprint Cup Series is going to get really crowded in a few years. Where are all these kids going to go? There's so much talent here, and I can't wait to see them in Sprint Cup.
John Hunter Nemechek wins it, but it was a challenge from Cameron Haley, who finished second, Caitlin.
It certainly was, and it was an up-and-down day for this 13 team and Cameron Haley, but a runner-up finish. Did you feel like you had anything for John Hunter Nemechek there at the end?
I think I did, and I mean, I'm beating myself up a little bit. It was a great run for a cabinets by Haley Tundra. Best career finish. I can't complain about that, but I just know in the back of my head, if Matt Crafton was in my truck, he could have won that, and I needed to run a little bit harder, but I mean, great run to start out this year. This was my hardest track all year. I needed to get this one over with and come out here second. I mean, I'm pretty happy with the team and just proud of everything. Toyota, everything's done for me. I mean, it's just an amazing start to the year.
Thank you, Cameron. Leaving Atlanta with a career best finish, guys.
Good. A lot to be pleased about if you're Cameron Haley. And John Hunter Nemechek, last year, he passed Kyle Larson late in the race and won for the first time in his career in the Camping World Truck Series. It was a great day for John Hunter Nemechek that day.
Much more dramatic today. He had to battle all the way to the checkered flag to pull this one off. Miss a big crash on the back straightaway also.
And a great restart there at the end.
Yes, his restarts were spot on all day long. Look at that young man. One proud papa right there.
Great hug from Dad Joe Nemechek, and today he's in victory lane again. Hermie Sadler down in victory lane with John Hunter Nemechek.
And what a celebration this is going to be for John Hunter Nemechek and his race team. John, I ask your dad, I'll ask you the same question. How did you win this race, and at what point did you feel like you had a shot to win?
Say the pit crew won us this race. I can't thank all those guys enough. They gained us, I want to say it was over 13 spots today on pit road, so can't thank them enough. It's an unsponsored truck for us again, 2 times in the winner circle, but can't thank Jerry Kennan, my dad, Lonnie Rush, everyone that works on this thing. I can't thank enough. I mean, we put a lot of hard work in with just a little bit of funding, and we can come out and win like this and contend for wins. So can't thank everyone enough, especially this guy. He's put his heart and soul into me, and it is what it is.
You guys battled this truck all weekend long, but it came down to this last restart. Watch the replay and talk us through this final restart.
Yeah, so I was debating on the radio whether I wanted the outside or inside line. I had restarted on the outside twice there, and Jerry, he came on the radio. He said, bottom, do not start on the outside. I don't know what it is about this place, but it's really slick on the top, and I got to give a shout out. I can't thank Kevin Harvick enough. I went and sat with him for about 30 minutes to an hour last night, trying to learn everything I could, so I can't thank everyone enough.
It's John Hunter Nemechek. He wins in Atlanta.
What a special day for John Hunter Nemechek and his father Joe and the entire family to get one here at Atlanta.
That pit stop he was talking about, he came in 6th and came out 2nd.
There's John West Townley, finishes 7th. That final restart, he was on the front row, but spun his tires. Cameron Haley gave it a run. 4 of the top 5 scored or matched their best career finish.
Rico Abreu, a great job of just hanging in there and picking up experience, learning, and gets an 11th place finish.
Austin Hill, a good run with that first start for his new team, finishes 12th.
Truex had trouble late, but impressive again this week, just like he was in Daytona.
Christopher Bell, 26th. Doesn't indicate the kind of day he really had was so good. And how about Johnny Sauter and Matt Crafton, 28th and 30th? The problems that they had. Daniel Suarez and William Byron, 2 drivers that had pretty good trucks as well. Well, it was a battle just about everywhere on the track. How about this one for 5th place at the finish?
Just 3 wide for 5th, and Grant Enfinger jumps up there and gets him a top 5. What a great job. And look at Ben Rhodes by about 8 inches.
Folks at home, how do you like how us truckers do this stuff? We're 3 wide for 5th. An amazing restart late in the going for John Hunter Nemechek to get the big win.
Our next race in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is Martinsville. It comes your way Saturday, April 2nd. Well, quite a different track than what we saw here today, but it won't be any less exciting, I can assure you that.
Those trucks are going to be bruised up a little bit after Martinsville.
John Hunter going chasing.
Yeah, absolutely. How about that?
We do want to mention that Christopher Bell was checked and released from the medical center after that hard hit. Hey, I want to say thanks to Hermie Sadler and Caitlin Vincey. Great job, Phil Parsons and Michael Waltrip. I'm Vince Welch. It was a great day at Atlanta Motor Speedway. John Hunter Nemechek was the winner. Stay tuned to FS1. 100,000 cameras from the Daytona 500 starts now.